Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel.
Today we're going to be combining our Black Fire Bello Opal with a Fire Red Glow Liner.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get started.
Just a quick heads up, Everett is busy doing finals this week, so I'm going to be filling in for the voiceover. First, we need to make our glow resin. So to do that, I'll mix equal halves of our Astrotech epoxy. We'll go ahead and mix those two together, start the activation process, and then slowly we will pour in a ton of glow powder. We're gonna add so much that the resin itself gets really thick. That's important because you want the ring to glow at maximum brightness, and you don't want it to be transparent. When you're doing a liner, the resin itself is gonna get very thin, and if it's transparent, you're gonna see through on the ring, and you just really don't want that. It's a bad look. You want it to be very opaque, very thick if you want the best, highest quality product. So there we go. Now we need to put it in the vacuum chamber and get rid of any of the bubbles. We do not want any voids or bubbles or anything like that in the finished product. Now, because our mixture is so thick, because of all that extra glow powder we added, you do have the risk of having it overflow in the vacuum chamber. So you got to keep an eye on that. And if it gets too close to the top, you got to let a little bit of air in to let it simmer back down a little bit. After spraying in a little bit of mold release, we'll go ahead and pour it into this PVC pipe here. After that hardens, it's going to leave us with a really nice rod that's easy to work with. Also, the excess resin we're just pouring into another tube. We can use that later. Now we need to wait for that epoxy to cure, so in the meantime, we'll go ahead and get started on the opal itself. It's a really awesome material. It comes in all sorts of varieties. Today we're using the Black Fire, which gives off an insane amount of cool colors and contrast, but there's a ton of options. We'll have them available on the website as well if you're interested in any of those. This material can be slightly brittle, especially when you're trying to cut it, so it's important to use diamond-coated hole saws and take your time, use plenty of lubricant, and slowly and gently cut it. Here we go. As you can see, the blank itself is not perfectly even, but that does not matter at all. You'll see later on how we shape this ring will completely get rid of any of that unevenness. All right, we let the epoxy cure overnight. Should be ready to go here. We're gonna go ahead and get it out of the mold and then just slice ourselves off a blank that we can use to make the ring. Next, we need to bore out the inside. So we're using a boring bar for this. Typically on like a metal, you'd want to use a drill bit to get your first hole started, but this material is actually easy enough to work with that you can just skip straight to the boring bar and cut straight through the middle. Now you'll notice the resin's not coming out in ribbons, it's kind of powderizing. That's a very good sign. That's a sign that we got a lot of glow powder in our mixture. That means it's going to be nice and opaque and it's going to have an insane glow brightness. Now we've got the inside to size. We'll go ahead and throw it on one of our Patrick Adair Supplies expanding ring mandrels, and we'll get the outer diameter where we need it. This is definitely my favorite part of the process. I love just seeing that fluorescent pink powder just flying everywhere. It's so cool. And then when you turn off the lights when you're done, there is just glow powder everywhere. I love it. Now we've got everything to size, we're ready to join the two together. For this, we're not going to do anything super fancy, we're just using a super thin CA adhesive. Go ahead and get it in that crack. Because it's so thin, it's able to use capillary action to absorb into the cracks perfectly. You get a really nice durable bond. If you're interested in this CA adhesive or any other type, we've got them all listed on our Patrick Adair Supplies website. Just check the link in the description for that. All right, this thing's starting to take shape, but you'll notice it's really just way too wide at this point. So we're gonna go ahead and get out a diamond cutoff wheel on our Dremel and go ahead and split off an excess piece. We can save this thin piece for later and probably use it in another thinner ring project. Next, we'll put the ring back into the lathe jaws and give it a final sizing. And while we're at it, we're gonna go ahead and give it its final finish. So we're gonna start with our 220 grit sandpaper, work our way all the way up to about a 2000 grit, and then switch over to our AstroTech all-in-one polish. When you're working with epoxy, you really only need to use the all-in-one polish. It's going to leave you with a really nice finish. There we go, that's the inside done, but the outside still needs a lot of work. It's gonna look so much better when we're done. We're gonna go ahead and head over to the belt sander and give this thing its facets. For this step, we're going to be using a 400 grit belt. That way when we're done, we can go straight to the buffing wheel, give this thing a polish, and it'll be ready to go. Now, time to give it its final polish. We're going to use the buffing wheel for this. We spent quite a bit of time here. It does take a little bit of extra work to get a really nice polish out of the Bello Opal, but when you're done, it's definitely worth it. Now here it is finished. I think this ring is so cool. I think it's a fantastic iteration of the original faceted opal ring that we did, I think it was about a year or two ago. And I think it was time that we take it to the next level. I think this was the perfect way to do it. It looks fantastic in any lighting condition, whether it's night with the glow or the day where you've got the opal that's just sparkling all sorts of different colors. You've got reds, greens, purples, blues. I really love this black fire opal. So thanks for watching, guys. If you're interested in ordering one of these, we're going to have them available on the website. I think we'll be able to do a lot of combinations with these, so you should be able to pick from a ton of different opal colors as well as different glow liner colors. You can mix and match anything you want. You should be able to make the perfect customized ring just for you. As always, if you've got any feedback, we love hearing it down in the comments. I make a genuine effort to try to read every single comment that comes through, and I really do appreciate your guys' feedback. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.